I'm Pamela, welcome back to the channel. I have yet another Yellowjackets theory for you guys today. If you are not caught up on season 3, major spoilers ahead. So after you watch episode 4, come back to this if you're not caught up. Now the ending of episode 4 was insane. We find out that Lottie Matthews is dead, and who do we think killed her? Let's break down some of the clues. Now we know that Lottie was in New York City. We can see her leaving the bank in New York City. We know this for a few reasons. The logo on the door of the bank has the Empire State Building, and we see that she is on Bedford Street. And then later in the episode, we find out that 3 of the other girls were in New York City as well. Ty and Van go into the city, and we know that Shauna was also in New York City to pick up the cat. She goes to adopt a cat in Manhattan. So could it have been one of them? We also know that Misty was unaccounted for several hours. After Shauna was locked in the freezer, she asks another worker, "Where is Misty? She just locked me in the freezer." And the worker says she's been gone for hours. So we do not know where Misty was. Could she have gone into the city as well? I don't think so. I don't think it was Misty because at the end of the episode, we see her react to Lottie's death in private. She is alone, and she seemed like she didn't know that Lottie was dead. She seemed surprised at the news. And the fact that she was alone, she had no one to put on an act for, so I don't think Misty killed Lottie. Walter, on the other hand, is a little suspicious. He is the one who messages Misty about Lottie's death. He's been a little suspicious up until this point. He doesn't think that Misty's friends care about her. Doesn't seem like he wants her hanging out with them, so is he planning to take out each of her friends one by one? You know, Misty blames herself for Nat's death, but if you think about it, it's kind of Lottie's fault. I mean, she insisted on the hunt. So maybe Walter actually cares about Misty, doesn't like her friends, thinks it's Lottie's fault that Misty is now living with this guilt. Now, although Walter is suspicious, I don't really think that he killed Lottie. I think it's much more important that Ty, Van, and Shauna were all in New York City. Could it have been one of them? Or could it have been the 3 of them working together? We also have a scene where Lottie is apologizing in the mirror. And we assume that it's to practice apologizing to someone else. You know, she's nervous about talking to someone else, apologizing to them, and so she's practicing in the mirror. But then I was thinking, what if Lottie actually killed herself? Now hear me out a little bit. We know that Lottie was leaving the bank. We don't know exactly why she was there, but it made me think of Travis's death. She was there for Travis's death, and after that, she empties out his bank account. So I think it's interesting that not long before Lottie's death, she goes to the bank. Did she know that she was gonna die, so she chose to empty out her bank account? And with her apologizing in the mirror, I assumed it was practice for apologizing to someone else, but what if she really was talking to herself? What if she knew she was gonna die? What if she was planning to kill herself and she was apologizing to herself for everything that she might have done to other people, for things she might have done to herself, apologizing to herself for what she is about to do to herself? And something that is interesting, the place where Lottie is found dead looks a lot like Lottie's vision that she had when Laura Lee baptized her. In season 1, when Laura Lee baptizes Lottie in the lake, Lottie has a vision where she is kind of walking through some sort of tunnel, up some stairs, and there are candles all around. And we see at the end of this episode, episode 4, that this looks to be the place, the same place. There's a staircase, there are candles, just like she saw in her vision. So what does that all mean? And at the end of this episode, back in the wilderness, Lottie sits next to Travis and he's looking at something and she says to him, "What is that?" And he says, "It's the outcome." And we can see 3 people standing around someone lying on the floor. So could this be a hint that all 3 girls, Van, Ty, and Shauna, were responsible for Lottie's death? Travis said it was the outcome, but he didn't say the outcome to what? He didn't say it was the outcome to the trial. So it was the outcome to Lottie's life and what happens to her after everything she's done. So something else that is interesting, like I said, the vision that Lottie has when she's baptized, she sees the place where she dies. And when she is baptizing Lottie and she's still under the water, she opens her eyes, she sees Laura Lee, and Laura Lee becomes this blacked out figure. And now in season 2, episode 2, when we see how Travis's death played out and we know that Lottie was there, Lottie sees Laura Lee. She sees like this scary vision of Laura Lee when Travis dies. And I don't really know what the connection is, but like I said earlier, it's interesting that after Travis's death, Lottie empties out his bank account. And just before her death, she goes to the bank. And when she's with Laura Lee, Lottie sees a vision of the place where she dies. And when Lottie's there for Travis's death, she sees a vision of Laura Lee. So when it comes to Travis's death and Lottie's death, there's some kind of connection with Laura Lee and the bank. I don't know. I just think it's interesting. I really don't know what this all means. If you have any thoughts, please leave a comment down below. I definitely just think it's interesting that Van, Ty, and Shauna were all in New York City, where Lottie was earlier. And then the whole outcome thing with Travis, he says it's the outcome, and we see 3 people standing around a body laying on the floor. Could the 3 girls have worked together to kill Lottie? And why would they all want her dead? I mean, we know that Ty wants sacrifice to save Van. Van doesn't want to die either. And Shauna sort of hates Lottie now. After what happened at her wellness center and after what happened with Jackie's necklace, Lottie gave Jackie's necklace to Callie and Shauna blew up on her and kicked her out of the house. So did all 3 of them want Lottie dead? But the fact that Lottie went to the bank, possibly to empty out her bank account, did she know that she was gonna die? Did she either kill herself or did she just know that something was going to happen? Maybe because of the vision that she had in the past, where she saw the location of her death. And if she did empty out her bank account, what is the purpose of that? Who is she giving all the money to? Is she maybe going to give it to Callie? Because we see that Lottie and Callie sort of formed this bond. So right now I'm thinking either it was all 3 girls working together, maybe it was Walter, although I don't think it was, or maybe Lottie just killed herself. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. That's it for today. Please leave a comment down below. Let me know if you have anything else to add to this. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and make sure you turn on all notifications so that you don't miss out on future Yellowjackets theories, because I do have a few more planned. Please also go follow me over on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, and I will see you guys next time.